I'm Adriana Cohen from the Boston Herald. With me today is U.S. Attorney Andy Lelling. We're at the courthouse here in Boston, and thank you so much, Andy, for making the time.
Sure.
We appreciate it. We'd like to talk about your recent op-ed in the Boston Herald, where you point out the problems that are going on with sanctuary cities, specifically that there is local officials who are making it really difficult for ICE to do their job in law enforcement, and this is causing some severe, it's a public safety threat.
Well, the problem with sanctuary cities is they are addressing a problem that doesn't really exist. There's this persistent myth that ICE is running around randomly plucking people off the street to arrest. People who may be here illegally, but who have a job and are otherwise law-abiding. That is not who ICE is prioritizing for arrest. ICE is looking for people who are here illegally and who have committed some other offense or for some other reason are a danger to the community. That's what they're doing. And it seems to me every municipality, every state should support that function. But I think large portions of the public don't understand that that's what ICE is doing. And so it leads to more support, I think, for this sanctuary city idea than you otherwise would have.
Right. But here in Boston, several cities are sanctuary cities, including Somerville, and ICE is finding it difficult to do their job. You point out in your op-ed that last year ICE made 2,469 civil arrests in the New England region. Approximately 90% of these arrestees had prior criminal convictions or arrests on criminal charges. So these are dangerous people, but yet liberal politicians who are very interested in shielding illegal immigrants from deportation, they're making it harder, again, for ICE to remove that dangerous threat from our communities.
The sanctuary status does make it at least incrementally harder for ICE to do what it needs to do. A big problem is ICE used to be able to take people into custody directly from jails or other state facilities. Not being able to do that because of sanctuary city policies makes it more dangerous for the ICE agents who now need to go out into the communities to arrest these people, and it makes it more dangerous for those communities. Would you rather have the ICE officers taking someone into custody in a controlled environment where no one has a gun, or would you rather that they were in someone's community, knocking on a door, effectuating an arrest, you don't know who else is there? It's a much more chaotic environment. That's not good for anybody because ICE isn't going to stop doing what it's supposed to be doing. They're enforcing a federal law. If you don't want federal laws on crossing the border illegally to be enforced, vote for a change in the laws. But don't take it out on the officers who are just doing their job, following their oath.
That's right, and it puts their lives at risk because, like you said, when they make an arrest at an illegal immigrant's front door, how do we know, right? Somebody could have a gun and assault the officer, and it could be a lot more traumatic for even the immigrant's children who now witness their father getting carted off.
Sure, and there could be collateral arrests. So you're at the home to arrest that particular person who you have on a list. There are 5 other people there. Maybe some of them are here illegally. Maybe ICE ascertains that. Maybe they make an arrest on the fly. If ICE is allowed to pick up illegal immigrants who they're arresting in the jail environment, they will only pick up that person. That's who they're there for. No one's going to get hurt. It's just a peaceful transfer of the person from one government authority, the state jail, to another government authority, which is the federal ICE authorities.
Right, but as we know, and throughout Massachusetts and around the country, there are criminal illegal immigrants who are literally raping and killing Americans. And just this week, a Maryland young man, a legal immigrant from El Salvador, who is here illegally, has been charged now for raping an 11-year-old girl. I mean, we hear these stories, seems like every single week. We have Matthew Denise, who was brutally killed here by a drunken driver in 2011. I've interviewed her mother, his mother. We hear these tragic stories all the time. Even the president pointed out some of these horrible tragedies at the State of the Union address. But yet again, there are people, politicians specifically, who are more interested in shielding criminal illegals. Where does it go from here?
Well, 2 things. I think a common theme in the examples that you noted is what's so tragic about it is if border security was better and if ICE received more cooperation from municipalities and states, some of these people would not have been here to commit those crimes in the first place, which is really what's at the heart of those tragedies. You need consistent border enforcement, you need consistent ICE enforcement, and hopefully that will continue. And you want ICE to be targeted in what it does. ICE should be prioritizing the people who came here illegally and who have committed other offenses or are otherwise violent or are in gangs. That was the same policy the Obama administration followed. It is sensible. People should stay out of ICE's way while they do that. I speak to ICE officers, I speak to management at ICE. They will continue to pursue the mission with which they're entrusted. They will continue to enforce the nation's immigration laws. On the distant horizon, what you'd like to see is some kind of legislative compromise in Congress on immigration. So that the temperature comes down a little bit on this subject. Might be the most contentious political issue right now in the United States, right? You need some kind of legislative action to try and, let some air out of the balloon.
Do you think that illegal immigrants should be given driver's licenses?
I don't.
Tell us why.
Well, it seems to me that is part of an effort to do an end run around or normalize what is intentional illegal conduct. So every person who crosses the border illegally, and the vast majority of people who do this are just looking for a job or looking for more opportunity, and they come here and they live peacefully and they just function here. That's true. It's only a small fraction of illegal immigrants who come here and are committing additional crimes. But every single person who crosses the border illegally is knowingly and intentionally violating federal law. So what are we to tell all the people back in those home countries who try to do it legally instead of illegally?
Right.
So let's say you're in El Salvador or you're in Guatemala or you're in Mexico and you want to come to the United States and you go to the local embassy and you get online and you fill out the forms and you hope they'll take you and you wait for months. What are we telling those people? That they're suckers for not sneaking over the border illegally? So every government benefit you authorize for people who have intentionally violated United States law normalizes what they're doing. In a way, it says it's okay what you did, when it's not okay.
Right.
And so that's why, as a general matter, I don't agree with the idea that, in-state tuition at universities, driver's licenses, or whatever the government benefit is that you're talking about should be readily extended to people who have entered the country illegally.
Right, because we already have an immigration crisis, and that's just going to serve as a magnet to have people, illegal immigrants, crushing the border, and it's already a challenging situation for the people on the ground dealing
true.
with it.
And one of the ironies is, one of the things that I think the administration has achieved is that unemployment is at historic lows. We could use legal immigration to increase the labor pool in many sectors of the economy in the United States. But that's legal immigration. So, it shouldn't be a controversial proposition that a country gets to decide who comes in.
Right, exactly.
Presumably, you care who comes into your house. You want to know in advance that it's someone you want there and that it's safe and that they're not going to do anything you don't want them to do. It's beyond me why that has become a controversial idea.